Yes, guys, I'm sorry. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Breakdown Podcast this Sunday. Aren't we all happy? Another quality performance by the Bluebirds. Yes, guys, I'm sorry. Hello. Hello. Who's that handsome fella? Yeah, look, there's lots of stuff to talk about, no doubt. I'm not a happy camper with the FA, and we'll get to that. But I want to focus on the positives first and foremost. And I thought Cardiff City, once again, were absolutely phenomenal. They were excellent in pretty much every metric. I thought we sat back a little bit in the second half, but that's because we did the hard work in the first half. So it's not an issue whatsoever for me, because I felt like in the second half we could have gone up a couple of gears if we wanted to. And also, let's be honest, we should have scored at least one, maybe a couple in the second half. It could have gone in 5-1 at half time. It was an all-round very, very good performance. We're going to get into it, of course. Got loads of content coming tomorrow as well because of the midweek game, which I'm really excited for. So we've got a player ratings video is going to come out a bit earlier, about 10 o'clock. Then lunchtime, we'll have the preview of the Wimbledon game, Cardiff City phone-in the evening, and a member show in the evening as well. So there is lots of stuff on Ace Nation Media and Cardiff City World. Hoping that by the end of this week, we might be able to announce our next live event as well. That one's going to sell out real quick, in fact. And also, tomorrow lunchtime, I'm sitting down for a conversation on camera with a former Premier League footballer, a former Cardiff City footballer, who's got a very storied and interesting, just an interesting career, interesting story. He's done, been at some of the biggest clubs in the world, including the mighty Bluebirds, may I say. Some of the smallest as well, down the road. But yeah, look, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting one. I've never interviewed him before. So really looking forward to that one. As I say, we've got so much content coming, so much stuff coming, live events, a lot. But let's talk about yesterday. Maybe it would be easier to talk about who was bad because everybody was so good. But I want to make mention of a couple of players first up, straight up. I thought, all right, Gav, fucking spoil it. I thought Alex Robertson in the 6 was absolutely superb. I thought, and look, this is not a knock on Ryan Wintle before anyone sort of gets defensive about that. It is not whatsoever. But I thought him in the 6 gave us a whole different dimension because he's able to break lines and pass in such a way. I also, and this might just be me, so you let me know in the comments if you agree, but I find the possibility of a midfield of Alex Robertson sitting with the Colwell brothers either side and Amari Kellyman as the sort of false 9, absolutely mouth-watering. But I think of some of the football that we could play, and we're already playing. Like we've hit some real good form at the right time because, and I'll tell you what, fair play to Lincoln, right? I thought Lincoln would start to fall away by sort of mid-February, and they haven't. And I watched the highlights of their game. They look real good. And in fairness to them, us and them look a level above the other teams in this league. I don't know what Jack Wilshere's on, I don't know what he was doing in the build up to that game, because, you know, for this older folk, like how many times do you see over the years where a manager or a player says something in the build up and you just think, well, that quote's going up on the changing room wall and they're going to make a point. And I thought in the first half, we absolutely made a point. Absolutely, you know, it could have been 4 or 5 at half time. And, you know, we sat back and we probably let them into it a bit in the second half. But they couldn't deal with our pressing. They couldn't deal with us moving the ball. Gabriel Osho, by the way, 100% duels for the second week in a row. It's mental. And like I said in the build-up to this game, imagine like at the start, I know, and after like 5 games of this season, you said you would be going into a game against Luton without Ruben Colwell, without Dylan Lawler, without Ryan Wintle, without Yusuf Salic, Callum Robinson's not playing. Like, you'd have thought, oh my God, how are we going to deal with that? And like, Kellyman has just come into a world of his own. Fair play to him. I'm absolutely buzzing for him because he is someone who's just bought into Cardiff City. You could see it in his mannerisms. And I didn't think he was as good yesterday as he has been, like on the ball. But actually, I thought he was absolutely excellent for how we were playing, because he wins free kicks. And I think what's interesting to me is, does he get the benefit of the doubt from referees where Salic doesn't? Because he's a bit slighter and he's younger and he's not as combative physically. Does he then get, like, the refs give him the free kicks? Because he just gets the ball, and if he can't drive on and beat the man and, you know, switch it out wide or whatever, he just waits for the impact. So clever. And clever was almost like the theme of the day. I thought Ollie Tanner and Joel Colwell were really clever. Then later in the game, I thought Ruben Colwell and Ollie Tanner were really clever. Great to see those two back playing together, because it feels like we haven't seen those two together for so long, because obviously they started the season, then Ollie got injured, then Ruben got injured when Ollie came back. They've got such a good understanding. And yeah, like, you know, look, I don't want to make this all about like individuals because they thought the team was so good. But I saw, you know, a lot of people were worried that Alex Robertson wouldn't be able to deal with like what Ryan Wintle can do and stuff like that. And again, it's not a knock on Wintle, but if you go back to the game where he scored 2 the other week, and he gets all plaudits rightly for the 2 goals he scores in the second half, and we win the game, and, well, you know, whatever, or draw the game. But like the first half, his reading of the cutbacks and interceptions, and it was his defensive work that really stood out for me in that game, even though he went on and scored 2. So I wasn't worried as long as we had the right combination around him, behind him, etc. And I thought, yet again, the manager got those combinations right. You know, I think Osho has really come to the party now, and that's great to see, because I think there was people who were doubting him, you know, and understandably, because he made a couple of howlers, but I think he's really showing what he's good at, and like his pace and everything. And I will say as well, like, the penalty, that was the one bit of quality that Luton did yesterday. And Devontae Cole, lovely touch on the first touch, turns inside Osho, and then plays the ball inside Bagan and Chambers. Some people would say, like, the Bagan got a little touch on the ball. I think it's probably a penalty. And I understand why people are like, red card, red card, red card. But the rules changed a couple of seasons back, so it's not a red card. If you try and, as long as you try and play the ball and it's a penalty, then it's just a yellow. And I just thought, Joel Bagan again, like Joel Bagan, right? I do my player ratings earlier. Spoiler: Joel Bagan got a 7 out of 10 again. And I was like, does he deserve more? Because he's been like he's so good again. But like, that's why he's so good, because every week he is 7 out of 10. And if every player is 7 out of 10 every week, then you win all your games and you win the league. I am loving this season. There was a little boy sat to me yesterday with his dad. I haven't seen him before, so I don't know, like, if they normally sit somewhere else or whatever. But like in the second half, we had the ball on our edge of the box, and I think it was Robertson, Chambers, and Osho played like a little triangle, and it was like Luton thought they had us. They thought they had us, like, pinned in, and it was just like bang, 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 one touch, out to the fullback, into Turnbull, and we were away, or into Willock, and then Turnbull was away. And I turned to the boy and I was just like, it's like watching the Premier League, isn't it, buddy? And he was like, it's better. And he was just like, Rah! And I was just like, yeah, that's what it's all about. And I'm loving it this season, not just because we're good and it's the everything about it, the togetherness, the manager, the young players, and going to every game with my son. Just everything is just beautiful. So Twitter have changed the way they kind of like do the links. So if everybody can go on there, whatever your social media platform is, get the link for this video on YouTube and drop it on your social medias for me. Give it a share and let people know that we're talking Cardiff City. We're going to get to the comments in a minute, but we just got to keep ticking these games off one by one, game by game. I think Tuesday is a really big one because if we win that game in hand, we are, I think, 13 points. Is it 13? I haven't got it in front of me. I think it's 13 points between us and third. That means we have to drop points. We have to drop points in 5 games. But then also, your Stockports and your Bolton have to win those 5 games as well. Like, that's a big old gap with only sort of, 15 games to go. I don't think we need loads more, but I just think you should keep churning them off. I want to win the league. I do. I would love it if we could seal it with like a home win and kind of get the trophy at home and stuff. But I think it'll probably be an away win. But look, it is what it is. We were I just thought he was superb. And another player who I really want to touch on is Matty Angel. Not like the goal's incredible. He does that. We've seen him do that before. Like that sort of, he's a great striker of the ball. But the consistency level, the patience he showed at the start of the season, the attitude he showed when he was not in the side, and he's just been exquisite. And like these last sort of 4 or 5 games, I think he's been in with a shout of man of the match every single game. And his consistency, his experience, when to slow it down, when to go. He's been so good, and I'm really pleased for him because he now is back to the level that we all know he was capable of. But he hadn't been at that level for a while, and I think he would say that himself probably as well. But he looks happy and he looks motivated and he looks so good. Interesting. Someone, I lost the comment now. Ryan said the only negative for me was that fans around me getting on Capacchio's back. He grew into the game when he came on. Yeah, it's mental, mate, because like the guy is playing out of position, but not just that he's playing out of position. He's genuinely, you can see he's uncomfortable at left back, and he's constantly trying to receive the ball, probably facing almost the wrong way because he's trying to get it a good first touch onto his right foot so he can play. And yes, he gave the ball away a couple of times, but he also did some really good defensive work and just cut out trouble and won the ball back and stuff like that. And I was a little bit worried about his confidence. And then when he slotted in against Rotherham at right wing back last week, late in the game, and he just immediately looked back to what we saw at the start of the season. So I'm not worried about it because he's not a left back. We got Scanlon to go in there now and compete with Bagan. And I hope as good as Perry has been, I wouldn't mind seeing Ronan get a start on Tuesday. I'm interested in the squad Tuesday. I was saying to a friend of mine earlier, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes full rotation. And then you look at that full rotation side, like you could be, I don't know, like Scanlon, I think, starts left back. If you go Ronan right back, you could have Fish and Lawler in the centre backs. Wintle comes back in. Robertson, Turnbull, Joel, whoever. Robinson up front. You could bring, I think, Kean Ashford get a start, I think, on Tuesday on the left. Looked like Chris Willock got a bit of a knock right before half time. But he was still, and again, 7 out of 10. Willock, I thought he was good. But like, I thought Kean was really good when he came on, like really dangerous, really clean. And it's just the way we're moving the ball, the way we're doing everything, the work rate, nobody switching off, nobody kind of getting lax with what their role and job is. If anything, I feel like at the moment, us as fans at the start of games, we're not loud enough because it's like, and I mean this generally, it's not a dig at anyone. Like, it's almost like we're just turning up expecting to win and the atmosphere is not there. And we're like, the player saying to the players, like, yeah, entertain us. And I would like to see us get behind the team a bit more, like, because we will have some tricky moments. But look, it's been good, isn't it? And I think ultimately it's hard not to love it, you know. I'm so pleased for Gabriel Osho because you could see there was talent there. It was just whether he was going to be able to do it in a Cardiff shirt. And that was his, like, the manager was very clever. He brought him back and he played him in the away games because the away fans are just going to get behind him constantly. And then he brought him into that home game yesterday and he just did the same job. He's really good. His pace is a big asset at the back there. Like, if people do sort of turn you around, and we jump so high. You know, there was a point where Chambers gets a shot off in the second half, and like we're 3-1 up, and Chambers is like pressing on the edge of the box, wins the ball back, and gets a shot off. And I just love the way that the manager has got them like playing. The best way to defend is to push them back. But let's go to some of the comments in a minute. See what people are saying, see what's happening. Yeah, looks Joe Martin just sent me a picture of Joe Bagan getting a ball. I thought that at the time, and I think the referee thought that at the time. And if you're asking me for my conspiracy, which is probably won't be the first time I point to conspiracies at the EFL and FA tonight, I think the referee wasn't given a penalty, and I think the linesman has spoken to him in his little earpiece and said that's a penalty. Because if you look at how long it took him to make that decision, to me, I don't think he was given it. It was the reaction of the players and the bench that I think caused it. But there we go. Right, let's have a look at some of these comments. Ian, evening, mate. Paul, evening. He says, evening, so I hope you're well. Great win. Is this the best football inside you've seen for Cardiff City in your time? Ooh. The only side I've seen in my time, at least, which compares to this, or even comes close to it, is probably the Dave Jones side with Chopra and Bothwood and Whittingham and Gav Ray and people like that, like Stephen McPhail, Kev McNaughton. Like, we were very good, but we were very good in a different way. You know, we were still, it's a different time in football as well. Like, at that time, it was kind of still, you was flipping from 4-4-2 to 4-3-3, but it was still quite direct and, you know, get it to the wingers and like that old school play. But like, in terms of out and out football, it's probably the best. Yeah. Just got to get Brian Barry Murphy signed into like a 25-year contract. That's what I say. Evening, Reese. How are you? Martin, Jeff, Matthew, Reese. Gavin says Jack Wilshere team talks are brilliant. He must have learned from his Wenger at Arsenal. Yeah, he was not a happy camper. He was getting a bit of grief as well from there's some kids sat next to us who were just kept calling him. It was quite funny, but all good-natured fun. Let's have a look. Gavin spoiling the surprise. Reese Lasky says, I think most of us had at least written one or more of them names off, that lost names, but buzzing for them all. Yeah, like, we were just very, very good, mate, isn't it? Ian says, if Salic weren't as good as he was, I'd be advocating to just play Kellyman or one of the Colwells up front for the rest of the season. Yeah, I think people, you know, people forget very, very, very quickly how good Salic has been this season and how much he offers the team. And look, it'll be different tools for different jobs. Wimbledon, if you remember, in the Virtue Trophy, were very physical. So this might have been a game for Salic. I don't think he's going to be fit. So we'll have to do without him. But I also think Amari Kellyman's doing an absolutely stellar job. And I think having Joel off him means that Joel gets right in behind. But we've got a very strong squad, boys and girls, and people are going to be disappointed. They can't all play, or they can't all start. Another one who I'm really pleased for is David Turnbull, because I feel like we're finally starting to see what he's capable of. And he does a lot of unseen stuff. I was having a bit of a disagreement with my buddy Martin earlier. Like, I think Turnbull, what he did yesterday really well was offer little angles for players, just little 1-2s, and he's constantly there looking for the ball. Works hard, got a great finish, and I just think he'll grow in confidence. He's clearly a very good technical footballer, and I still don't think we've seen the best of him. I think out of all the midfield options, he probably is like my sort of final choice, but I do think he's starting to show what he offers and what he's capable of. He's grabbed a couple of goals this year, got a good shot on him. So we shall see. That Lincoln long throw, we got to work out a plan to deal with that when we play them, because that game's getting bigger and bigger by the weeks at this point, unless they start, or one of us starts dropping points March the 7th. And I'm doing some stuff with Jake as well from the EFL debate and Lincoln podcast and stuff. So that's going to be fun. Martin says Robertson completely controlled the tempo of the game in the first half. The 1 and 2 touch combinations were fantastic in midfield. Yeah, he's very good at deciding what pace this game is going to be played. If it needs to go quick, if it needs to be slowed down. And I think I said a few weeks back, one of the things which I really like about him from a tempo point of view is he'll give the ball, and you'll never see him give the ball and then like go and hide. He always wants it back, whether he drops in to have it back and recycle it, or whether he, if he's not the 6, he's breaking lines to receive it on the run. And I think that from a tempo point of view, when you give it and then you go to have it back, it just makes everybody move the ball quicker. And I think we look so dangerous when we move the ball quickly. Ian says night and day compared to the reverse fixture where Trott pretty much gave us 3 points single-handedly, showing a massive improvement as a team. Yeah, and I was had a conversation with a Luton fan in the build-up to the game. They were like, "Oh, you were so open. We're better now. Casey Palmer, blah blah blah. We'll take you apart." And I was like, "Yeah, but we're not that open anymore. We don't have like our rest defenses and setup when we've got the ball is completely different, and we don't concede those chances on the break anymore." You will get the odd one, but as a general rule, we're set up though in a way that if we lose the ball, we've got cover and we've got people tidying up. So I wasn't too worried about it. But they've got good players. Casey Palmer was really good against Bradford, but he was really poor against us. He was really, and that's the nature of sport, isn't it? Sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad day, and he gives the ball away, I think, for the second goal. But I blame his teammates for that rather than him, because he's got his back to the 2 or 3 players behind him, or the 2 players behind him, and he's got 1 in front of him. And they give him the ball, and no one's giving him a shout to say, like, you got to move it off your first touch, like put it around the corner or whatever. Don't dwell on it. Do not take a touch. And he takes a touch, and he's just Tanner and Joel did a really good job in that instance. Because how many times do you see a player be pressed from sort of the side or behind, and he just falls over or falls on the ball and wins a free kick? And they did such a good job of not fouling him or not even giving him the chance to earn a free kick. And then Joel's finish was delightful, absolutely delightful. Jonathan says Robertson and Joel Colwell complement each other so well in central midfield. It's brilliant to see. Joel Colwell's just everywhere, isn't he? Martin says Kellyman earns free kicks because his ability to control the ball with his back to goal is outstanding. He's got quick feet, mate, doesn't he, as well? So, like, he gets it under control, he kills it straight away, and then he moves it. So, like, where the defender's going to get the ball's already gone, and then he just takes the impact. Gav says, does Wintle automatically come back into the team on Tuesday night? For me, it's a no. So, look, I think there's an argument that he doesn't, and I think but for me, the argument is, could you give him another night's rest? Could you get, because him and Bagan have played so much football. They're kind of the two who haven't had much cover. Could you give him another night off on Tuesday? But on the other hand of that, I think he offers a lot. He's been so integral to the team. But also, Robertson and Joel Colwell in particular have done a shed load of running in the last 2 games, like a lot. So, you know, they'll have access to all the stats and the red zones and all the rest of it. And they'll pick based on that, as among other things. But I understand what you're saying, mate. And I think there's a definite world where you could make a argument that he shouldn't come automatically back into the side. But I think the manager likes him. I think he gives that bit of experience amongst the young midfield that he probably does come back in. But I definitely see the argument for not. Dan says Alex Robertson yesterday provided the best midfield performance on a purely statistical basis out of any of our midfielders in any other match. A real all-rounder. Mate, he's definitely an all-rounder, mate. He's a very good footballer, mate. You know, and if you cast your mind back to when we signed him back last year or in the Championship, I said just enjoy him while we've got him, because he won't be with us for very long. It's like we have some players who, if we're being brutally honest with ourselves, if we don't get back-to-back promotions, will we still see them in a couple of years? I'd probably say not. The likes of Robertson and Lawler and, you know, maybe the Colwell brothers and whoever else. They go in places, they're young, they got some big clubs interested in them, and they're very good footballers. So we'll see how that goes. But for me, let's get promotion, let's get a title done this year, and then let's see. Like, I saw someone on Twitter the other day saying, if we go into the Championship with this squad, we're going to get absolutely destroyed. We'll be fighting relegation. We need 5-6 signings. I was like, I couldn't disagree more. I think we need 1 or 2. Don't need, as providing we keep everyone. I think you could probably change 1 or 2. I don't think you need loads and loads, because remember, young players generally, all right, progress is not linear, so not every player is going to improve season upon season upon season. However, if you look at the age of the majority of our sort of squad, they are young and they're most likely to improve. You know, even if you go from the back and you've got Kapacchio, Fish, Lawler, all under 22, then you've got Robertson, Joel Colwell, Ruben Colwell, Isaak, Ollie Tanner, Salic. They're all like under 25. And then you've got like the slightly older ones like Willock and Wintle and the rest of it. Like we haven't got many players who are going to age out anytime soon. Like, who's the oldest players in the squad? You've got probably Robbo, Chambers. Oh, I can't remember how old Perry is, but like we haven't got that many players who are going to like age out over the next year. So you can just build a real strong togetherness on that, because you're going to have the same nucleus of the squad. You just need to give them the tools to carry on improving. Jeff says flights booked March the 7th due to extra flights getting eggs from rugby. I can be out the door and back home in 16 hours and a bit. I'm loving that, Jeff. Loving that. Take advantage of the extra flights for the egg chasing and get yourself in and out quick. Curtis says, can't believe we've only got 15 games left until the end of the season. And then Jonathan says, the season goes faster when you're enjoying it. Not like last season. There was a drag. You're dreading every game last season, weren't you? Gavin says, my prediction is 7 more wins, 21 more points to get us promoted. So let me ask you a question in the chat then, boys and girls. How bothered are you about winning the title? Like, do you care as long as we just get promoted? Is it like first and second, don't care how, whatever? Or do you want to go and make a statement and like win the league with our kids and really take them on? I think it could be massive in their development and everything to actually win the league. And I want, like, from purely selfish point of view, I want to see us lift the trophy, but I also want my son to experience it because he hasn't had that experience as a Cardiff fan. Martin says NG's level of consistency at the moment is remarkable. He is on another level, mate. Martin says there, our starting average age was higher than Luton's yesterday. Experience in the side is telling. Yeah, I think BBM's done a really good job of dipping the experience in and out at the right times. And like, what I'm most pleased about is this sort of period after Christmas, from January to now, is a really important period after you've played a shed load of games over Christmas. And I thought over Christmas he did a great job of rotating the squad, but still picking up points. And then since then, when it could have been real squeaky bum time over the last few weeks, if we'd like lost points or dropped, like lost games, and we've seemed to have found that, like, that extra level of form. Like the Burton game was frustrating because I thought we should have won that. But Rotherham was just such a good... The Rotherham game, I think, in many ways, almost gave us like a injection of adrenaline, and was just like, no, we're too good for this league, and we're going to show it. And that's all you got to do, is just show what you're capable of. So that's interesting. Reece says he thinks Wimbledon will be much more of a test than Luton. Well, Wimbledon are scoring goals at the moment for fun, and they are also very physical side. It won't be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. So I'll be interested how he sets up. Like I know, you might want to get your Keane Ashfords and your Callum Robinsons. He might want to get them some game time. But if you make too many changes, it can make you disjointed, and it can make you a bit not yourself. Now, he's done a very good job of managing that all season. But, Wimbledon, let's have a look. Wimbledon got 39 points. They're probably not in the playoff conversation. They're 10 points from the playoffs. It'll be a hell of a late run. But, I mean, they'll want to keep ploughing on. They scored another 3 at the weekend against Barnsley. They do concede goals as well. So, I mean, there's that too. I think ultimately, this is the way I feel about it, is Wimbledon don't seem to not score. They seem to score every week, but they do concede goals. And for me, I look at them and I think if our players play as they are capable of, then we'll have too much for them. And that's no disrespect to Wimbledon or Johnny Jackson's side or any of the players. It is just a player for player, manager for manager, whatever. Like, I just feel like we all have too much if we're at it. If we're not at it, then of course it's anyone's game. As it's professional sport at the end of the day. They got some big, strong athletes. They do play with a 3-5-2, which I want to do a video about how we've done against teams who play 3 at the back, because I feel like we have struggled at times when teams do play with 3 at the back, but I might be wrong. I haven't really looked into it. It's just a feeling that I have, that sometimes it troubles us. Let's have a look. What are people saying? Jeff says, what game can we seal it? Getting carried away, Jeff, and you. Wow. He said, I'm going for the Bolton home game, 11th of April, maybe Peterborough away on the 6th. Birmingham sealed it there last year. As long as we seal it, mate, don't mind. But it would be nice to get it done early, wouldn't it? Lincoln are on us, mate, and they are desperate to go up and they want to catch us. Make no mistake. Lincoln really want to catch us. That Lincoln game bugs me as well, by the way, because I thought we made them look better than what they are. But they are good, especially for this level. Matt says our fitness levels are way above where we were in previous season. He chops and changes lots to give players a rest, but it's definitely working for the good. Less injuries, the fittest team in League One. We are so fit, mate. like, even I just use Joel Colwell as an example, right? The guy, he just doesn't stop running. And he, like, when we had 10 men against Rotherham, it was like we didn't because of him. Scanlon just had a bit of tightness on Friday, mate. That was all. Fully expected him to start on Tuesday, to be honest. No, he just had a bit of tightness. People come up with all sorts of just madness, don't they? He was fine. The manager said he's not going to rush him. Like, he's coming back, like Kellyman. He's coming back from like a long-term injury. You're not going to, if he feels anything, you're not going to chuck him in. I thought Ruben looked really lean. I don't know what other people thought, but I thought like he'd lost a couple of pounds. He looked really lean, really quick. Should have had a couple of assists, really, if we had finished those chances. But yeah, Scanlon he had a knock, and I think, you know, that's why Capaccio came on at left back, because Scanlon I didn't even have a knock. He had a bit of tightness in his leg, and we're not going to risk him. Well, nor should we. Don't need to risk anyone. Okay. Gavin says Port Vale home Easter Friday. He's going for promotion. You guys are getting way carried away, and you. I love it. What if you can't get giddy and enjoy football, supporting your team, and have a bit of belief and excitement? Then what's the point in it? Go on, the boys. Gav says we'd have been better off putting Scanlon on the bench over Capaccio. Not if he's injured, mate, or not if he's got a bit of tightness. It's not worth the risk. He goes in and then he pulls up 10 minutes into his performance and is out for 5 weeks. There's no good, is it? Not a birthday thing is bullshit. I don't know where that came from or where that started, but it's just not true. Alan says can't knock one player in the squad or the team at the moment. BBM too. BBM he's got that golden touch at the moment, hasn't he? Martin says the linesman on an Ninian stand side gave the penalty. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Linesmen and referees, mate, we're going to get to them now. Absolutely shocking. There was a point, right? So Kellyman was in the centre circle, and the centre back gets his hand and pushes Kellyman in the back of the head as the ball's coming. So Kellyman's like that, like off balance. Referee is 2 yards away, looking at it, and nothing. And this is what does my head in, right? So with Salic, the excuse was always, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Salic is giving it, the defender's giving it, so you just let it go. Which is fine if you do let it go, but they don't. They used to penalise Salic. And now, like, you've got a ref just witnessing that, and he does nothing. And I tell you something, the fact that we've got 2 concussions is outrageous anyway. I get this. The Salic one is slightly different because I don't think it was a foul that caused the injury, but it was, however, a build-up of lack of protection from the referees that ended like just with these types of injuries. The Isaac Davis one is absolutely outrageous that the FA have said that they're not going to charge that player. And I get it, like, you don't necessarily want to ban players and all that. Like, but a guy has done Isaak. Trotter's got a ball. There's a big old space behind because they're pushing forward. Isaak has started to go because his Trot's going to send it into the space, and the guy is giving him a nice little uppercut elbow to the face. All right, the linesman and the referees didn't see it. Okay. The TV cameras didn't pick it up. But the cameras that the club used for the analysis and everything did pick it up. That was provided to the FA, but they're not going to charge him. It's outrageous because, and look, the Welsh FA take a lot of stick, rightly. But when that video came out of that boy, that guy elbowing the boy, it was like, I don't know, about a month or 2 ago, when it's a penalty and there's a guy on the edge of the box and he just gives it, boom, in the side of this young lad's face, knocks him out cold. That guy, by the time that went out on that video was circulating on socials, that guy had not only been banned by his club, banned by the FA or suspended or whatever, but he'd also had a visit from the police within 24 hours of that video going out viral. The FA have decided that that's not worthy of a charge. Because I thought the one in the Stockport game on Ryan Wintle was naughty, when Wintle's running over towards the Ninian stand and the guy just gives him an elbow in the face, but the referee sees it, gives him a yellow card. I didn't realize that you could elbow people in the face and it's just a booking, but whatever. So I get that, like that you can't be charged because the referee saw it. The referee didn't see this, and you can't give it all the bullshit about we want player safety and you've got to take concussion protocols very seriously, which you absolutely should, because they are very, very serious and they can lead to life-altering injuries. So I fully am on board with concussion protocols, concussion substitutes is absolutely spot on. But the FA, as usual, don't back up their own rulings, campaigns, and all the other bullshit. Absolutely spineless. And then you start asking the question, is it because it's Cardiff? Like, is it a Cardiff thing because they're the only Welsh team in the league and they have an issue that way? I'd be really fascinated to see to know. I'll have to ask. I got a couple of Wrexham mates. I'd love to know if Wrexham had a similar issue with refereeing and, things not getting pulled up afterwards. There's no excuse for McWilliams to not have been pulled up and at least asked about it and asked, what the hell are you playing at? Because it's not an accidental collision. It's not a natural collision where they're both looking at the ball and they've just bumped. It's not even one of them where you're trying to put your arm across to guard the ball. He has done him with an elbow. Isaak Davis now got a concussion. Look, all I will say is this. Isaak Davis has got a serious concussion. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that the FA has the footage, the report from the players, the medical report, everything which they need, the report from the club, everything which they need to make that right after the fact. And they failed to do so. So is it that they're spineless and absolutely shockingly bad at what they do? Or is it because we Welsh? I don't know what it is, but I think it's absolutely outrageous. And I got a mate who's a Rotherham fan, and he can't believe his luck because they thought he was going to get like a 4 or 5 game ban. It's absolutely outrageous. I'm disgusted by it. And let's just say that the people behind the scenes are not happy. I know the manager wasn't happy. He made that very clear, but I don't think other people within the club are very happy about it because, like, with the greatest respect, and I don't want to make, like, it's not like being a drama queen or anything like that. Like I'm saying, and I'm being honest, like concussions are really serious business. I've had a couple of bad ones myself. Like they're really serious business. And, you've only got, I know Yusuf's got like the ligament thing in his neck as well as the concussion protocols to follow. But but Isaak was, he's flying, he's in good form, he's coming off the bench, he's making a point, and the boy's had such bad injury luck over the years to be at a point now where he's fit and he's playing and he's available every week to then be done by a fellow professional because the fellow professional was worried he was going to get in behind is disgusting. I'm absolutely, I don't know what more to say other than that. I think the FA need to hold their head in shame. I think it's an embarrassing decision, and I hope the club do take it further, and I hope the club make a point of it because it's not good. Very, very upset by it. I gotta be honest, and like I'm trying to be careful with what I say because I don't want to break any confidences, and I also when you're talking about people's medical stuff, it's their business. It's not for me to discuss, but I think it's all you need to know is I think it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Yeah, Lewis, you're right. Like Yusuf's not that far off, but you got to be careful, mate. You've got to be careful with necks, concussions, everything like that. It's like I said, it's serious business, and that's why I feel really let down by the FA. No, I don't know why I'm surprised, considering the standard of refereeing this season, but I do feel let down by it because they had everything there to do the right thing and follow their own fucking rules. Well, there we go. Drop the swear. Jonathan says we had an embarrassment of riches under Dave Jones. From a player point of view, we absolutely did, yeah. He never got to spend any money though, did he? But like from a playing staff point of view, he had outrageous squad, wasn't it? Oh, Gav, don't tell me that. So Gav says the ref on Tuesday is the same as the Stockport one. Surely that cannot be right. That's going to be interesting. Ian says, I noticed our defensive shape was 4-4-2 with Joel Colwell pressing up front with Kellyman. Yeah, we quite often press in a 4-4-2 shape out of possession, mate. Before Ruben got injured, Ruben used to be the highest one, and then Salic would be the sort of second one to follow. But yeah, Joel does it so well, doesn't he? Like, closes the gaps, and they're so clever the way they cut off the passing lanes, and then they're on them quick. Kellyman in particular is really good at cutting off the angle of the pass, and then Kellyman's really deceptively quick. He looks quite slow, but it's those long legs in it, and suddenly he's on him and he like stretches a leg, and I really like him and Colwell pressing. And look, fair play, like Chris Willock took probably a bit of fair criticism, but about his work rate at certain points over the last 12 months. But I think he's working really hard defensively at the moment. He did, like you could see he had a knock second half, but he's still working hard. And I think it's one of those, isn't it, where you can just go. Let's have a look what people are saying. Reese says Luton reminded me of us and Errol Bullitt and Omar Risa. Wow. Trying to play football, but offering nothing in the final third. Yeah, but that is, in my opinion. So I think, like I said in the preview, they're trying to play football under Jack Wilshere, and they're trying to use the fullback to invert to create an overload alongside Casey Palmer. And Casey Palmer's good, but we gave him no time on the ball. But the problem with what they're trying to do, in my opinion, which could easily be wrong, I'm only basing it on what I saw yesterday, is they're trying to play football and then inverting the fullback, and they're doing it decently from the back. But the forward players and the wide players are very static. So they haven't got really like a player who drops in. Like Devontae Cole did it once where he dropped in and then played it in round the corner. But they haven't got that sort of player. Then the wide players are very like, they're not trying to get in behind. They all want it to feet. And they're not moving the ball quick enough. And then when you hear Jack Wilshere saying their plan was to force Cardiff out wide, you were thinking, all right, I kind of get the idea that you want to force the team wide because it's low percentages crossing the ball in the box, and then you back your centre-backs to defend the box. However, of all the teams in this league who I probably wouldn't want to force wide, it's us. Because we create so many chances from wide areas with overlaps, underlaps, and third-man runs in the wide areas. So it was bizarre. And what I really liked then on the flip side of that is Brian Barry Murphy set us up out of possession to be really strong in the central areas. So every time Casey Palmer had the ball, not only did he have Kellyman, Colwell, Turnbull, and Robertson all close together, like their spacing was so good, but Ollie Tanner tucked in, Chris Willock tucked in. So we made it almost impossible for them to play out in that first half. And ultimately, right, and again, only my opinion based on yesterday, so Luton fans don't get upset. I'm just telling you what I saw yesterday. Brian Barry Murphy out-coached Jack Wilshere. Now, yeah, Brian Barry Murphy's a little bit more experienced. Jack Wilshere might learn, and I hope he does. I actually hope he does well for Luton, because I want to see more young managers go and do their thing. And I like the basic idea of what he's trying to do. Maybe he doesn't have the players to do it at the moment, but Brian Barry Murphy had a plan for it, and we executed our plan far better than what they did. But anyway, Reese says it's easy to want the team to pass it around, but it's hard to drill the team to do it effectively. It's all about movement off the ball, mate. Like, actually, like passing it, they've got some decent players to do that, and they did it all right. But they're also static. Like, you look at us, the reason why we're so good at what we do is because there's constant movement off the ball, and people, your players have to be brave and want the ball in tight spaces. You have to want the ball even though you're marked, because you're going to pop it off one touch. That might be you're going to go forward, to go back, to go across and move it quickly. But it's how quick you move it, and if you've got players brave enough to want the ball under pressure. And maybe they're just not there in their journey or whatever. If Colwell's got a dead leg, possibly, yeah, he could sit out Tuesday. That'd be a disappointing, because I think he's in such good form the last couple of games. I'd be really gutted. I'd be gutted if Robertson or Joel Colwell are not starting on Tuesday. I'd be really disappointed. But I suspect we'll go back. I think it'll be Wintle and Alex, and I actually think Kellyman might go in the 10, and you might see Callum Robinson go in there, especially if Joel's got a dead leg. I wonder whether Ruben gets an hour from the start. Be interesting, wouldn't it? I thought he looked quite sharp. There was one or two little things where he's a bit rusty, but I thought his actual, when he got on the ball, he was very good. Him and Tanner, love that. Gav says, random rumour on the weekend was Trott being thought of for Man City as a third choice keeper. I don't really get, don't get me wrong, I get why they would want him as a third choice keeper behind Trafford and Donnarumma. But if you're Trott, I don't know. I can't pretend to put myself in the mind of of Nathan Trott. But to me, why would you want to go and sit? You're never going to play, because Trafford plays all the cup games. Donnarumma is the first choice. Yeah, but then I suppose you get to train under Pep, and you get to train with Donnarumma, who in my opinion, is the best keeper in the world. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know. For me, I'd want to play, but like I said, I can't pretend to put myself in the mind of a professional footballer. However, what I will say is, rumor or not, it kind of just shows the level that I think Nathan Trott is way above League One level, in my opinion. Reece says, if anyone goes to be third choice keeper, it's purely for money, zero ambition. Yeah. Josh says, I think it'll be the same midfield 3 Tuesday. Suspect Robertson will resume his normal 8 soon, though, because he's a better footballer than Turnbull. But I do prefer Robertson at the 6 on Wintle. Josh said, interesting problems to have. Yeah, look, it is. I think we see Lawler and Scanlon start. The midfield will be easiest. It'd be interesting. A few people sort of saying their side for Tuesday. Graham says, think Tuesday will be Trott, Kipakio, Fish, Lawler, Scanlon, Tanner, Turnbull, Robinson, Colwell, Ashford, Kellyman. That's very attacking, isn't it? I haven't got any midfielders in there, mates. Unless you mean Robertson, perhaps, rather than Robinson. Jonathan says, Chambers and Robinson are the oldest. Not sure which is older, but I think they're both 30. Yeah, they're about 30. So I could imagine. Do you know? I think I said I might have said this on my video earlier, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Osho and Lawler play as a pair now that Osho's found his feet. I feel like that could be quite the partnership, but we shall see. Maybe Callum Robinson or Callum Chambers, some of the older lads. Maybe they haven't got it's been a long season already. Maybe they get a rest on Tuesday, with the game being so close together. Ryan says Ipswich went up basically with the same side. You can beat a team who know each other You can't beat a team who know each other and work for each other over individuals. 100%, mate. As long as we keep the manager, I don't think there's a ceiling on these players and this team, because I think we've got such a good team of young footballers. The challenge is keeping the manager and in turn keeping the players. If you can match the manager's ambition, at least some of the players will stay for the manager. If the manager goes, I kind of worry for it, but fingers crossed he won't, and he doesn't. Jonathan says, I want us to take the title, build confidence in the group, hit next season as strong as possible, give us the best platform to build on. Yeah, don't mind that at all. Jeff says, I wasn't too worried about winning it till yesterday. Now I want a lot, plus a big Cardiff parade for the lads. Yeah, you think like those young lads, like Cardiff City fans, how much they'll love it. West Ham struggled on Burton's pitch. Yeah, 100%. 12 goals we've scored, Gav, in the last 4 league games. Spot on, mate. NG, aging like fine wine. He's always been a clever clever player using his body. Doesn't have the pace, but the body position is top level. He's a top fullback, mate. There was a time, a couple of seasons back where him and Walker Peters were the standout fullbacks in that Championship League. He had a difficult period, and now he's back. Ryan says, I sit not far from the away dugout, and you could see where Wilshire's face when Robbo, Ashford and Ruben coming on. The strength and depth we have for League One is ridiculous. You must sit by me, mate. I was like 1 row behind the away bench. Ruben does need a haircut. That's what my boy said. He looks lean. I'm telling you, I really think he's lost a bit of weight. I haven't seen a ref display from the Newcastle game yet. No. Sue says BBM will play him when he feels he's right. No reason to. Well, so I think you're on about Scanlon now. Right. Let's have a look. Last couple of comments. Perry NG banging the goals in. The HMS pissed the league is turning into the final straight. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that to me today, mate. Old Dan Lowe keeps telling me Perry NG for Player of the Year. In my opinion, it's only my opinion, Joel Bagan is Player of the Year at the moment. However, Perry NG is making a big run for it second half of the season so far. There's a few others, mind you, could be in there. Yeah, Tanner's assist rate, Sue says, Tanner's assist rate is second to none in all the leagues since he's come back. Yeah, and he averaging like 1.8 assists per game or something. Unreal. Ian says, Wilshere felt like watching Reeds last season. Good passing, good sequence of play, but early clueless in the 18-yard box. Yeah, and they just kept giving them, like you give it against good teams, and we are a good team. You give the ball away in dangerous areas, they will take you apart. And like I said, it could have been 5 or 6-1 at halftime, and I don't think they could have argued. And we could have scored a couple in the second half as well. Matt says, please put your starting 11s for Tuesday in the comments section of the video once the live show has ended. I second that immediately. Guys, thank you so much. I apologize to the people who don't like the swears because I dropped a swear when talking about the Isaac Davis situation. I'm really frustrated by it. I'm really angry about it, but I thought I communicated that pretty well, only swearing once. I also haven't had a cigarette now since Wednesday. Well done, me. No, that's got anything to do with it. I'm just an angry man now. I used to be a grumpy man. Now I'm an angry man. Don't forget now, tomorrow morning, about 10 o'clock, player ratings, 12:30, 1 o'clock, preview, 7 o'clock, Cardiff City phone in, and then the member show. I think Matt's going to do the member show tomorrow. 4 bits of content all day. Cardiff City World is the place to be. If you are a Cardiff City fan or an EFL fan, Cardiff City World is the place to be. The second best place to be is my YouTube channel at TheSide1927. Please do give that a subscribe. It hits 100 subscribers already, which I'm really chuffed with. Got a video coming on that channel where I'm taking a deep dive into Cardiff's coaching staff, what their roles is, all the backroom staff, what their roles are, what they do, their influences on the team and everything. That's going to be on my personal channel. Cardiff City World is just 2 bits of content every day. Lunchtime video, 12:30 every day, most days. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes a bit later, and then live show in the night. We are flying. We are loving it. We are embracing HMS Pistol League. Thank you so much, as always. Keep the faith, keep smiling, and I'll see you tomorrow for more Cardiff City talk. This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.